What is going on, guys? Just finally finalizing these final touches here. Hopefully, I'm trying to get the music to be not so loud. Bring that down. You guys let me know if the music is too distracting. All right, let me get in tune here and we'll start. What is going on, Vikings fans? Welcome back to the Purple and Gold Bars Show. I am your host, Supreme Overlord, aka Mr. AI Man 3000, aka Mr. Purple and Gold Bars, at your service. We are on the road to 500 subscribers, guys, so please don't forget to hit that like and subscribe. I hope to hit that milestone by the end of the calendar year, and because this is the number one spot for an optimistic, out-of-the-box, non-traditional X's and O point of view, hopefully giving you a different perspective to counteract all the negativity that we see on social media and YouTube alike. All right, guys. We've made it to another hot take review. Let me see. I feel like, hold on a second. I need to be centered here. There we go. All right. Hopefully that's better. Gotta keep looking over to the OBS. I hope you guys are doing well, guys. MJ's in here, man. MJ, man, I gotta give you a big ups, man. This is like 6 or 7 that I've noticed. You're either jumping in here saying "Skol," listening, whatever you're doing, man. Thank you so much. I really appreciate your support, brother. Oh man, woo. Man, good gravy. Okay, so let's get right into it. We're going to watch ourselves frickin'. Hold on, my lighting is terrible here. I don't have my I know why. Sorry, I got to put my light in from upstairs. I got a light that I got to put up here in order to hopefully diffuse a little bit. And hopefully, because I feel like it wasn't diffusing properly. It's okay to have a shadow here. But see, now it's not so bad of a glare on the picture. And I like me some horror, guys, so that's why I like to have that front and center. All right, guys, we are back at it with another hot take review. Hey, thanks, MJ. We're back at it with another hot take review. We're going to jump into this one with another ridiculous Colin Cowherd take here. Let's take a moment and listen to what this idiot has to say. What that? Let me pause this music.
If you were a real estate agent and you were trying to sell me and say, "Hey, I want to be a real estate agent," I would say, "How long have you been a real estate agent?" And if you said 10 years, I'd say, "Okay, take out your worst year and take out your best year." Everybody sells a mansion because you know the owner, and your friends of friends, and your parents knew him.
Oh my God, Colin, you freaking moron. What? You know the reason why he says this right now is because he's prefacing his freaking argument. He's saying, "Oh, well, if you take out his best and then you take out his worst, then you can really..." It's because you're about to do the same with JJ, and I can just tell. You idiot, man. This is what happens when like a pseudo-intellectual or like a midwit or somebody that just takes a superficial idea and doesn't really dig deep and doesn't find any corroborating evidence, doesn't fact check or even see if his take supports historical context, especially for something like football. It's probably something that you have to do. That's what I do every single time I come up with a hot take. Well, maybe not hot takes, but whenever I'm taking opinions or stances or researching a certain point of view, I try to make sure that I'm not wrong first. So I like to go back and I try to do some research. I'll use AI, whatever it is, to kind of find all the reference points so that I can kind of test my own logic against something instead of just going, "Hey, you know what? If you look at it in the specific way that I'm looking at it right now, clearly Clearly, the sky is always yellow. Obviously. Are you dumb? Just because you see blue doesn't mean that it's blue. It's yellow. I'm telling you, when you look at it, and if you take into this, what an idiot. So that's what he's doing here at the very beginning. So don't forget that. Eric, New Mexico in the house. Hey, what's up, buddy? Hot take review time.
Me the other 8 years. Take out your bad and you're good. And so a lot of times you'll see a young quarterback.
Did you see what he did there? He said 8 years, right? Let me guess. J.J. McCarthy played 8 quarters. What a moron.
Have a terrible quarter, but also have an amazing quarter. Take those out. What are you? So in 7 of 8 quarters,
here we go.
J.J. McCarthy has played. He has a passer rating of
Yo, what's going on, Paul?
When he looked like Joe Montana. So I'm going to take that one out.
Oh my man. Oh my goodness. Literally, just like clockwork, I said the reason why he used that example is to make his argument seem like it's actually smart. What a dumbass, man. Like, this guy is the foremost biggest idiot. Like at least Nick Wright is well researched. There are times where you can hear his football IQ and his knowledge behind his bias, right? Because he'll talk about other teams that he doesn't have a stake in, and he'll make some really insightful freaking comments. But then you got idiots like Colin Cowherd that what they do is because they don't take the time to do any research. They don't take the time to just double check what they're saying even makes sense remotely. What they do is they come up with a take, usually biased or very, very superficial, and then they look for some sort of example or some sort of way of prefacing that hot take for you to make it seem credible. And literally exactly what I said. Oh, if I was a real estate agent, or if I met a real estate agent, I would say, what are your 10 best years? And then I would take the first and the worst magically. Oh, we have J.J. McCarthy. We got 8 quarters. We got 1 good one, 1 bad one. Let's take it away. He's bad. Freaking moron.
I mean, in 7 of 8 quarters, no touchdowns, 3 picks. I mean, Caleb Williams may look out of control and wild. In 7 of 8 quarters, J.J. McCarthy looks utterly overwhelmed.
Look, exactly. See, literally, all you have to do whenever you look at hot takes, and whenever because I have to do this before I do a hot take review, or whenever some sort of like really trending viral topic comes up, I have to look at it and I have to really listen to what's actually being said. And usually in that first, if it's like a well thought out hot take or something like that, there's no prefacing. It's, this is what I see, this is why I see it, and this is why I'm making my assumption. Colin literally never does that. It's all superficial and it's all heavily biased or with a ton of skepticism. And let him keep proving it.
From his coach, he looks like a quarterback that never had to carry a team or play from behind. Oh, wait, that was his college resume at Michigan, and why I said coming into the season, of all the first-round quarterbacks, I didn't get J.J. McCarthy. Now, I may have missed on Caleb.
Absolutely moronic. Look at, he's willing, this is what we call throwing the baby out with the bathwater, okay? When you have such a small sample size, this is the reason you don't data mine small sample sizes. Because when you data mine, data mining means identifying all the potential points in a subset of research, whether that's surveys or whether that's sit-down interviews or whether that's actual focus groups, stuff like that, right? When you take that, you usually have a really large sample size. And then you data mine. So then I start identifying it all, and then you pick out the ones that are outliers, which is outliers, which is what he's trying to do here. But his idiocy, his freaking lack of intelligence, doesn't even see the logical fallacy or the market research fallacy that he's literally falling prey to right here. When it's a small sample size, when you, like I've been saying since the beginning of the season, you are definitely only going to find randomness masquerading as meaning. And this is exactly a perfect example of this stupidity in action by someone that gets paid millions of dollars to freaking run their mouth on TV. Like, bro, this guy is a moron. But look, when you look at it, guess what? This is how I read and interpret small sample sizes, because you're not supposed to derive meaning, but what you can do is identify things that might have some potential value ongoing, or you can make some reasonable assumptions, but not concrete, right? So for me, I look at this and like, wow, he struggled for 7 quarters, but that one quarter, he flashed a historic flash, essentially. And like I've been saying, quarterbacks, rookie quarterbacks that are in their first year starting, they're only going to show flashes as well as growing pains. And for JJ McCarthy's first flash to be a historic event, that should be more than enough that you can take from this. It's like, wow, let's see what he can do going forward. There's a lot of potential. And now I'm excited to see what the rest of the data brings in. So at the end of 16 games, I can go, or 16, 17, 17 games, at the end of the season, we can go back and say, was this an outlier? Was this actual valid point that he's trying to make? Because that's how you do quality data mining, quality market research. This is what we call a freaking, the same thing as when you make an assumption. You make an ass out of yourself and me, right? So what an idiot. Let him keep freaking digging a hole.
Caleb Williams too, but I didn't get JJ McCarthy. I think he's struggling to see the field. I think he's holding on to the ball too long. And there's a big difference between managing Michigan when you're the quarterback under Jim Harbaugh and being a quarterback in the NFL, where sometimes you got to carry a bad O-line or miss.
You see what he's doing? And he constantly prefaces his points, right? Oh, well, compared to Michigan. Bro, when the hell did you forget that rookies, first-year starters, are allowed to make mistakes? Like, they're supposed to look overwhelmed at times. The NFL speed is supposed to catch them off guard. They're allowed to take sacks. They're allowed to freaking throw interceptions. They're allowed to make mistakes. Because guess what happens? Just like if you were too hard on your kid when he's a toddler because he's struggling to learn to walk or to talk, or he says things backwards, you'd be looked at like a moron for having that kind of expectation of a little child. Right? Now, I know it's not one-to-one, but it's an extreme example that I want to use to make the point that you're supposed to have patience for someone that is doing something for the first time. Unfreaking believable.
Matches. You got to have vision, be anticipatory, get rid of the ball.
Really, right out of college, you're supposed to come out exactly like Andrew Luck, because you're basically describing Andrew Luck, Colin. Really? You're that biased that you need to know, like, right off game 1, 3 minutes into the game, oh, he looks like Andrew Luck. He's got to be the next Andrew Luck. If it's not him, he's garbage. Like, what a freaking moron.
Quick decisions with punitive results if you don't get it right. And I'm watching.
Can we talk about how he constantly pulls up these notes like he's done some research? No. What a jackass, man.
Last night, and again, he had an unbelievable fourth quarter against Chicago, who we now know is pretty bad. But
do we? Do we know? You know what? They're growing. I don't think they have played enough football under this new coach and under this new scheme for long enough to know whether they're good or bad. All I can tell from the Bears is that they're growing and learning and trying to implement a new system, and the flashes that they've shown are pretty decent. Yeah, they've struggled. Guess what? That happens when you have to transition to a whole new playbook, a whole new defensive playbook. All your signals change. Guess what? When you're so used to, after the first couple of years or whatever, or whatever under the previous system, and you just tend to react and go back to what you remember. Sometimes muscle memory is very difficult to overcome. It takes a long time. That's why I've been in very much in awe of what Harbaugh has done in what Harbaugh did in 1 year with San Diego. He essentially, in my opinion, he did what most coaches do in 3 years. Unbelievable, man. Unbelievable.
I don't know. When I watched J.J. McCarthy, this was my fear, is that he played for Harbaugh. They had a game in which he didn't throw a pass in the second half. He always had the lead. He'd make one or two nice throws. You got to make one or two nice throws a drive in the NFL.
Hey, dumbass. Colin, you are so freaking idiotic. It's not even funny. What a logical fallacy. Hey, guess what? In Michigan, he didn't have to do that because he had such a dominant running game. Guess what happens in the NFL when you have a dominant running game on a bad team? They hand up the ball 25, 30 times, and they let the quarterback manage the game. Oh, are you saying the same things about freaking Jalen Hurts because he threw -4 yards in one half and then threw for 0 passing yards in the second half? Oh, I don't think so, you freaking moron. It's because this is what half-wits, mid-wits, not even half, maybe he's a half-wit. He's somewhere in between a half-wit and a mid-wit. Like, what a freaking moron. Hey, what's going on, man?
One or two nice throws a drive. So, I mean, honestly, he looks like one of those Survivor contestants by week 3. The hair's disheveled. He looks tired. He hasn't slept well.
And then he prefaces all this stuff with throwing a whole bunch of stuff that doesn't mean anything. Oh, because it looks like a Survivor contestant out there all struggling and this and that. Guess what? Rookie quarterback struggle. Guess what? Every single one. Remember, I had to go back and do some research. I was like, was everybody like on the Tom Brady train when he first came into the league? What were the narratives? And guess what? In like week 5 or 6 or whatever, he threw 4 interceptions, and everybody was calling to bench him and saying that he's not the future. Were you one of those idiots, Colin? Man, what a moron, man.
Losing weight, like just nothing feels right here. And again, good kid, works hard. Everybody talks about his leadership. One of the things I am always turned off by when people say, well, he's got it.
The reason why it turns you off, Colin, is because you don't have the capacity nor the football IQ or the developed football eye to know what it is. You're literally that dumb. I'm just going to throw it out there. Like, I've watched you over the years, and you consistently do the stupidest freaking things over and over. You are the freaking idiot that, oh man, he had some of the stupidest freaking takes. Oh man, there was one about freaking Baltimore Ravens and Lamar that I was just like, bro, like, you have to be freaking ridiculous. It was about how the Browns were going to take over the freaking the division. Take it away from Lamar Jackson and the Ravens when Baker Mayfield was in year 1, or maybe it was year 2, or going into year 2. I think maybe it was his prediction going into year 2, if I remember correctly. I watched so much, it kind of all starts to melt together. But this is the same guy that told us, oh, freaking the Browns and Baker Mayfield are going to take over the division, and they're not going to hold. They're going to be the next dynasty. Man, shut the heck up. Let's listen to this idiot.
Well, what is it? That everybody had it under Jim Harbaugh. You know, it was like Steve Spurrier when he coached Florida. All the quarterbacks were great. They all had it. You got to give me traits. Big arm, mobility, thick body, whatever it is.
See? Bro, this guy's so dumb. He's so freaking dumb. I need to see a big arm, big this. Guess what? Just about every legendary quarterback didn't have a perfect prototypical freaking draft report. You know, they said, can Peyton Manning actually do anything in the league? He doesn't have a strong arm. What the hell did Peyton Manning do in the league? Oh, Tom Brady is the last pick of the draft. Like, what? Why are the Patriots going? Guess what? He developed those traits and those skills, that skill set that became the greatest of all time. This is how I know, Colin, you have zero idea when it comes to this stuff. You don't watch enough football. It's clear and obvious. You just use your researchers, and what you do is you have a unique talent of coming up with like these pseudo intellectual takes that sound good for those idiots that don't take the time to listen or thoroughly what you're saying. But for the rest of us that actually have a brain that can listen to what you're saying, we laugh when you say stupid stuff like this. Because it's so blatantly obvious that you don't really know football. It's absolute. You literally just ask your researchers to be like, I need to talk about J.J. McCarthy, and I want to talk about Baker Mayfield, and I want to talk about Jalen Hurts, and I want to talk about all these things. Give me all the research. Suck a fat one, Colin. You are literally a glorified writer. That's all you are. Because you're taking the hard work of your researchers that probably actually know football, and then you're trying to twist the stuff to fit your perspective, to fit your skepticism, to fit your bias, and then you say stupid shit like this.
Anticipatory thrower. I mean, he's got an A+ head coach.
Anticipatory.
A+ Justin Jefferson. And 7 of 8 quarters, he just
Wait. I remember. Wait, didn't you say that Justin Fields is going to be the next great freaking quarterback? What a moron.
Lost. So I'm not sure even Kevin O'Connell can fix it. And
Bro, your opinion is literally worth nothing. So you keep on thinking what you want, because we love it when the season goes forward and after a year or two when we can laugh at your stupidity and bring it up. I'm like, remember when Colin Cowherd said the Browns are going to take over the division? They're the next greatest dynasty because you love Baker so much? Remember you loved Sam Darnold from the moment he entered the draft process. You're like, he's my guy. You freaking caped for him so hard in freaking New York and then the Panthers. And it wasn't until he found some success with the Vikings where you talk nice about the Vikings, and then what happened? He leaves and you go back to your jaded stupidity because you're just basically handicapped.
call him the tall Sean McVay. I don't know what to do with this. I know he's only played 8 quarters, but 7 of them he looks overwhelmed, and here's his coach after.
He's got to coach better.
All right, we'll leave it there. We'll leave it there. And I do got some actual arguments to make here. Where did that? Oh, that's weird. All right, let me see. Let me put my notes on this screen because for some reason when I put it there, it blocked it for some reason. But anyways. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. All right, let me see here. Let's see here. Where do I start? Where do I start? All right. First and foremost, almost like always, historically, rookie quarterbacks always just show growing pains and flashes. That's about it, right? And so my biggest argument when it comes to that is that you're completely disregarding the development process, right? We have in 8 quarters, we saw one flash from J.J. McCarthy, and it was a historic one. If that trumps all 8 quarters, because that level of potential, it far exceeds all the negatives that came before and after it. Let's be real. It also ignores the context that, guess what, in the second game, just about like 3 freaking linemen went out in the first quarter. So, yeah, it's going to be difficult for anybody to do well under those circumstances, regardless. Man, what an idiot. And then I got some examples, right? Justin Herbert, he showed moments of brilliance, but had multiple turnovers and inconsistent games. And then in year 2, that's when he started to show that, hey, this guy is something special. Remember? Now, Patrick Mahomes, in hold on a second. I put just Patrick Mahomes and I didn't write down the things that he said. Gosh darn it. Anyways, Patrick Mahomes, I believe year one, he was a little bit underwhelming, just average. And then year two as well, that's when he really took off, right? So it kind of leads back to the same point. Unbelievable. Also, quarterback development isn't linear, right? Um, Early struggles doesn't mean fall all out, just like it's just not a thing, right? So we got examples like Aaron Rodgers, Russell Wilson, Dak Prescott. Right? Aaron had limited starts behind Brett Favre, but then eventually he became elite. He's known as one of the most talented throwers of the football, right? And it took him a little bit of time to earn that status, right? Russell Wilson struggled in his first year, right? He had a bunch of interceptions, just a bunch of just rough gameplay. Remember after he took over for Matt Flynn, the one-hit wonder? I bet you Colin Cowherd, I bet you were saying that Matt Flynn was going to be an incredible quarterback in the NFL. And then Russell Wilson went and stole his job that he had just gotten paid 19 million or 20 million to start. I'm like, okay, Colin. Dak Prescott, right? Now, he's he showed a lot of inconsistencies in year one, and over time he's developed into a pretty solid quarterback, right? It's probably above average. I don't know what his trajectory is, if he's going to ever win a Super Bowl, but he's definitely an above average thrower of the football. And he's, despite all the inconsistencies and struggles that he had in year one, you know now, first year flashes often understate the long term potential, right? So people will go, there's not enough flash, there's not enough this. So it kind of gives people the confidence to shit talk, right? That's why Colin is saying things like this. But guarantee you, later in the season, when JJ is doing all the right things and he looks right, I don't know if he's going to be doing where I was right, where I was wrong with JJ McCarthy. I think, like always, with his horrible takes, he just brushes them under the carpet and just hopes that you forget that he said that the freaking Browns are going to be the next freaking best thing in football. Now, the last thing, statistically speaking, only about 15 to 20% of rookie quarterbacks are ready ready to immediately take over as franchise quarterback. It's only happened a few times. The one that stands to mind is Andrew Luck, because I remember going into that draft and then going into that preseason, I was like, oh my goodness, how all this hype, like it was so huge. I was like, I need to see what this kid can do. And in that first preseason game, from that first drive on, I was like, what am I watching? The poise, the leadership, the ability to identify stuff pre-snap, the way he was adjusting, calling out pass protection and audibling in preseason, like his first game. I was like, what is this guy on? What is he smoking? What is he drinking? What is he taking? I want like 3 times what he's doing, because it's insane. Like, to me, I don't think I've ever seen a quarterback like that. And mind you, I did start watching the Vikings the year that Brett Favre was our starter, right? Like that was the first year where I actually watched the Vikings. The year before is where I got into football, and I only used to watch. I would watch the teams that my favorite superstars were on. So like I'd watch Julio Jones, I'd watch Megatron, I'd watch Adrian Peterson, I'd watch Reggie Wayne, stuff like that. Like because I was in love with the aspect of football and the athleticism and just what these athletes could do. And then I slowly started to become a Vikings fan, and the rest is history. So, yeah, like I just can't believe. Oh, man. Colin, you're a moron. Let's just be real. Let's just call a spade a spade. Let's move on to a different take that I think is absolutely ridiculous. Okay, here we go.
The Detroit Lions are on pace
Oh,
to score the most points in the history of the NFL.
oh.
Who's the quarterback? Jared Goff. And what's remarkable? Not that he leads the NFL in completion percentage or passing touchdowns. He's on his 7th offensive coordinator.
There it is. He's got to preface his freaking argument with some sort of example or something that's of shock value to make you think, whoa, that is a good point. What he's about to say is going to be a solid take. No, it's not.
And he's had one bad season with Jeff Fisher. Every other coach has worked. 2 head coaches, 7 coordinators. Ooh. And I said this when he came out. He's durable as hell. Guy never gets hurt.
Oh.
I mean, he's the only quarterback to play every regular season game week 1 of 2022 until today. He's the only one.
That's a pretty
durable. He got
pretty good record.
Cal stood up, ready to play every next Saturday.
Oh, okay.
6'4", great mechanics, sees the field, really accurate.
Oh.
Yes, Sean McVay got him to a Super Bowl.
Oh. There it is. There's the next thing. Yes. Sean McVay got him to a Super Bowl. So he's got to be great. Let's not forget, even the great Sean McVay was able to go to the Super Bowl with them. Conveniently ignoring the fact that they literally gave him away to the Detroit Lions. The first ever quarterback trade where the receiving team that was getting an I think he was a first or second overall pick, right? Super high lottery draft pick, where they gave away draft compensation to the team that took him. Like, what does that tell you? Just logically speaking, they believed Matt Stafford was that much more valuable than Jared Goff. Right? Oh, but purple. Like, he was so young, and it was a thing of like, Sean McVay didn't want to, wait along until he became, poised and able to do the things that he does in the regular season in the playoffs. So they just kind of jumped off him early and looked to see who they could win now with. It makes logical sense. But wait, aren't we in the modern day of sports psychology, sports training? You don't think that the entire time that he was with the Rams, Sean McVay had already identified that weakness and probably had him seeing a sports psychologist and working on these things so that when he gets to the playoffs, he can actually perform? It's as if you conveniently ignore that, Colin, just to be able to make the stupid argument you're about to make. I don't even know what he says here, but I know this is going to be ridiculous. Oh, my goodness. Here we go.
But we didn't know if Dan Campbell was a good coach.
Oh.
We didn't know. He was an interim before, and everybody thought he was, he's kind of a rah-rah guy. 7 coordinators. Jared
7?
Goff, folks, get used to hearing this. Jared Goff's going to be a Hall of Famer.
There it is. There it is. A guy that consistently has failed in the playoffs. Get this. If your argument was right, or anybody that makes the argument that, Sean McVay just didn't want to have the patience until he gets to that point where he can start winning Super Bowls. He wants to win one now with the team that he has. He had Aaron Donald. He had all these guys, Cooper Kupp, all these guys that they're ready to win now, and they can't wait for Jared Goff to get to the same level in order for them to win the Super Bowl. Okay. Why hasn't he developed that ability in the playoffs? How many years later? What happened last year? Didn't he choke? Oh, man. That alone contradicts literally everything that you're saying. Hall of Fame quarterbacks don't choke against a rookie quarterback-led team, the Commanders. He conveniently forgets that Jaden Daniels is the Detroit Lions' daddy, specifically Jared Goff. Like, how do you let a rookie quarterback come in and beat you in your home? I'll tell you how. Is when you don't have the ability to get out of your head in order to produce at the level that you can produce in the regular season. Oh, it's all fine and dandy, to be a regular season merchant. But when you get to the playoffs, that's when it matters. And guess what? Your organization, the Lions organization has been telling us for the last 3 years that it's their time, that they're winning, that they're ready to win the Super Bowl. But all we get is excuses like the refs stole the game from us. Oh, if Dan Campbell hadn't gone for it, we would have won the game. Guess what? Those are all copes. Oh, Jared Goff just had one bad game. No. Guess what? Sean McVay watched him in that Super Bowl run, and regardless of the help that he and probably a bunch of freaking sports psychologists or man, I bet you they went to crazy wilds, like bringing in like hypnotists and freaking doing sleep there, just all these like controversial, not even controversial, but like revolutionary techniques in the era or in the wave of sports psychology. You think an NFL team's just going to be like, I figure it out on your own? No, they spend a frick ton of money on these players. You think they're not going to spend a couple thousand or a couple $100,000 a year to make sure that he develops mentally to be able to handle the pressures of the postseason and then handle the situation so he can win and play at a high level in the Super Bowl or in the playoffs? Guess what? Every single team does this. Everyone. And on top of that, a lot of these players spend on one of those out of their own pocket on top of it all because they have that drive to win. Jared Goff, regardless of all that, what? Nothing.
Absolutely going to be a Hall of Famer.
No question. Okay, what if he doesn't win a Super Bowl, Colin? Let me see if your argument stands if he doesn't win a Super Bowl.
No question is going to be a Hall of Famer. He plays in rhythm. He plays in structure. He got great genetics. His dad played in the bigs.
Ooh, that has to mean something. Hey, you hear that? His dad played in the bigs. He doesn't like it when people say stuff like, "Oh, he's got to have he's got it. He's got the it factor." It's the same difference as like, "Oh, well, his dad played in the bigs." What does that have to anything to do with it? Based on your own stupidity and logic. You literally contradict yourself. This is how I know. You just take the information that your researchers do, and then you just freaking twist it into some ridiculous superficial take that literally has no backing.
This is not the NBA.
Oh.
Where style points matter. Westbrook is a guard.
Okay, sure.
He'll make the Hall of Fame and should. Because his stylistically, Russell Westbrook athletically is so memorable and so unique, he should make the Hall of Fame. But he's a guard that doesn't shoot particularly well.
Oh.
Which is okay if you're a power forward in the 70s, but you want your guards to shoot well.
Oh.
And that's not a knock on Westbrook. First ballot Hall of Famer. But a lot of you guys get caught up on style.
Is it style? Is it style, Colin? Hey, I did a little bit of research here, right? In the modern Super Bowl era, Dan Marino, Fran Tarkenton, Jim Kelly, Ken Anderson, all got into the Hall of Fame without a Super Bowl. But that's basically where it ends. Because now when we look at modern football, every single quarterback, Tom Brady, Peyton Manning, Drew Brees, Aaron Rodgers, Phillip Rivers, are either already in the Super or are already in the Hall of Fame or are going to be first ballot Hall of Famers once they get there. Now we got guys like Phillip Rivers, Matt Ryan, and Tony Romo. You think those guys are going to make the Super Bowl? The Hall of Fame? No. Now, Colin's going to make an argument that, oh, he's done so good for so many years. So that obviously he's using, it's obvious that's what he's going to do because he's using Russell Westbrook as an example. A guy that probably won't win a title because he's so stat focused. He's a stat pattern. The things that he does isn't about winning games or winning championships. It's about making himself look good so he gets the biggest contracts whenever it hits up. I like Russell Westbrook. I'm actually wearing Westbrook Jordans right now. Oh, you can't even see them. I got Westbrook Jordans on because I actually, when he came over to Denver, I found that he had earned my respect because he started playing basketball the right way. Started playing in order, like as a part of a team and with winning as the goal. He took a backseat for having to be Mr. Triple Double and all that stuff. That's when I was like, whoa, he's showing some real maturity. I hope he wins. It would have been awesome if Denver would have won it and he would have got his ring there. I don't know how it's going to play out. Maybe he ends up, focusing on that style of basketball and then ends up helping a team get to the title and winning a title. And then I'd be like, oh yeah, guaranteed, first ballot Hall of Fame. He's got the stats and he's got the title. So let's see what Colin says.
This is not the NBA. Style doesn't matter.
Ooh.
Style matters in basketball. Basketball is a more artistic sport. Basketball, everybody's jump shot, bird.
Basketball is an artistic sport.
Look different than Kobe's, look different than Michael's, look different than Dr. J, look different than Steph Curry.
Oh my God, this moron.
You can be a Hall of Famer.
Oh.
Win a playoff game.
Really?
But in the NFL, you can't. You got to win playoff games.
Oh, okay.
And so I know this.
Funny how you said playoff games and not Super Bowls. Outside of the quarterback position, you might be right because it's a lot harder for a corner or this or that to win Super Bowls if they never get on the right team, right? But for the quarterback, the guy that's supposed to lead them, he's supposed to be the bus driver. Yeah, it kind of matters.
You think this is an outrageous comment? I have seen Goff go back to the game in which Jared Goff, as a Ram, outdueled Patrick Mahomes. And
ooh, wow, that far back. Let's go back, guys. Let's rewind and go back and see Jared Goff outdueled Patrick Mahomes as a Ram. What happened after that, Colin?
Go look at Jared Goff's receivers in that game. There was no Puka, right? So Goff's a really good player.
Did he win a Super Bowl that year in the playoffs with those receivers? No. What are you talking about, Colin?
And if you ever, here's another thing.
Oh, here we go. Here we go.
Have you ever noticed with Jared Goff that his coordinators get head coaching jobs?
Ooh. He said that. Did you see how he said that? He said that with such conviction and such certainty, like it was something freaking awesome to be. Watch him. Did you know that 9 out of 10 dentists say that flossing prevents gingivitis? Now you know. Who the hell cares? You're literally regurgitating something that literally means nothing. Literally means nothing in the evaluation of a Hall of Fame quarterback. You think they, when all the people are getting together and do the whole Hall of Fame freaking committee thing, they go, but hey, you know what? Jared Goff, that one time he outdueled Patrick Mahomes. Oh yeah, and the other guys, everybody goes, oh, really? I forgot about that. Oh, he's a first ballot Hall of Famer. Or they go, and then that guy goes, hey, do you remember that he has had 7 coordinators and they've all gotten head coaching jobs? He must be elite. Get him in the Hall of Fame. Oh my God, what a moron.
He's like a stimulus package. Every coordinator he has, everybody's like, man, that's a good coordinator. Yeah, because they have Jared Goff. Right now, he's completing over 75% of his throws. Well,
hey, you know what? We can't take away what Jared Goff can do in the regular season. I'm not dogging him for being, a little bit for calling him a regular season merchant, right? It is impressive. Yeah, it's awesome. But when you get to the playoffs and you fail the first time when you're with the Rams, and it's clearly a factor that you are just not capable of elevating your game to what you can do in the regular season. And then you continue to do that years and years after the fact. I think it's a problem. And when you have such a large sample size like that, that becomes a trend. So, Colin, what are you talking about? We'll leave it there. And because you know what, one last statement, since 2000, in the modern day, after all the modern changes and stuff, like the football that we know, closer to what we know from the year 2000 to now, it has been basically impossible for a quarterback to enter the Hall of Fame without a Super Bowl. So, believe what you want to believe. Maybe he's just banking on the fact on his fact that he believes that Jared Goff's going to win a Super Bowl before his career's over. I am extremely skeptical because I look at the information, I look at the data surrounding the Detroit Lions, and then I look at the data surrounding Jared Goff and what he can do in the postseason, and I disregard essentially what is going on in the regular season because there is such a dichotomy between his regular season play and his playoff play that you can't compare them. It's apples to oranges. So when you look at just the apples, the playoff performances, there is a recurring trend. And then when you look at the Detroit Lions, this is just another example of what they do. They go 10, 20 years rocking a last place schedule. Guess what? When you rock a last place schedule for years at a time, you get to find some guys like Ndamukong Suh or Megatron or Barry Sanders, and then a whole bunch of other complimentary guys around them. And then all of a sudden, guess what? Like always, you guys put 1 or 2 seasons together, maybe 3, maybe 7. With Barry, you guys had a 7-year peak, but you guys had 2 playoff runs with Matt Stafford and Megatron, right? And now we've gotten 2 playoff appearances with this Dan Campbell-led freaking Detroit Lions. And guess what happens shortly after they peak? They can't, when I mean peak, they can't push through and break through. The Detroit Lions start losing coaching staff, and then slowly and surely, the smart players, the ones that realize what's happening, slowly start leaving in free agency. And it's usually the ones that are coming up with contracts that are big, that they need to they're like, yeah, well, I'm not going to re-sign for another boatload of money. 1, because they can't afford it, and 2, because I don't want to be freaking tying myself to a freaking sinking ship. And then within a year or 2 of their freaking of their peak, where they just can't break through in the playoffs, they collapse and they become irrelevant again for another 10, 15 years, 20 years. That's what the organization's trend is when you look at everything from like 1950 to now. This is what they do. They're the rerun kings. All they do is put together a good team a couple years at a time, and then they collapse. And it's a big indication of the organizational failure that starts at the very top. Their philosophy, their owners, whatever it is, the people that they hire, they don't have the capacity to bring in a winning culture. There's a reason why all time, when it comes to their franchise win record, they're bottom all time. All time. They're one of the worst teams when it comes to winning percentage. It's absolutely embarrassing. It's the reason why these Lions fans, bang their chest so hard whenever they do good, because they're so miserable of being irrelevant for so many years that they're ready to crown frickin' and raise banners for just making it to the playoffs and choking. They're absolutely brain dead and completely blind to what's happening. They've already lost 2 of their coordinators, right? Their roster's getting even more expensive and hard to keep. Before you know it, they're going to lose players, because that's what happens to teams that start overpaying everybody. Eventually, they start losing people, and they try to regain. Some teams try to regain a core of those teams that they believe is going to continue going forward, and they try to replace the ones that they lose, the guys that they've overpaid in the draft. But that's not what the Lions do. The Lions do the thing where they just try to hold on for as long as possible until they just lose the locker room, they lose the coaching staff, they lose the players, and they just become irrelevant again. So, I don't know, Colin. I think I'm going to stick on the side of history here. I'm going to stick on the side of what emerging trends are over a large sample size rather than your superficial take and your idiotic positions that you take. What a guy, man. This guy's a dumbass. All right, guys. Thank you so much for hanging out with me today. That's going to be the end of Hot Take Review. Don't forget to hit that like and subscribe. We are on the road to 500 subscribers. I really appreciate you guys hanging out with me and every single day and supporting. I really appreciate every single one of you. I love literally every single fan out there. I don't even care. Even if you're a Lions fan, I'm gonna trash talk you back. Let's be real, because sometimes you got to be freaking reeled in a little bit. But I still love you, and I only want the best for you. So, the best. I mean, hopefully you get a clue and find a better team. But that's another story. I hope you guys have a great one, guys. Thanks for hanging out with me. Take care.